Well, good day, everybody, and welcome back. So, I wanted to come on today to answer a viewer's question. They had a very good question, which was, how do I clean out my biological pond filter? And so, I'm here today to answer that. Here is the filter that I filmed in a video that I made 2 years ago, and I'm no longer using this one. I originally made this one because I thought it was kind of neat looking, and the filter was going to be out in the open, and I wanted something that would function as a filter and also look good. But I don't have a need for that any longer, because my filter, when this pond is finished, is going to be installed on the other side of this wall over here, where it'll eventually spit the water out through a crack at the top and kind of be like a waterfall. So this over here, basically the rectangular trash bucket, is my new filter, and I went with that shape because I figured it would fit best on the other side of that wall, and with the square rectangular shape, I thought it might hold my my filter media better, which were, rectangular scratch pads. Anyways, to answer the question, you really shouldn't have to clean out your biological filter if it's working properly, if you've seeded it with bacteria, and as long as you have the other two things that a pond needs in order to keep the water clear. So those other two things that you need are shade, which you can see above my pond. I've built a structure which isn't quite finished yet, because I'm either going to put some lattice on the top to kind of provide more shade, or I'm going to trellis some type of vine up over the top that will help to provide more shade. I also have a tree. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a tree on this corner of the pond which provides some shade, not a lot, during the summertime when the sun's passing overhead. But the other thing besides shade that you need is you need some type of aquatic plant, like a water hyacinth or a water lily, something to pull the nutrients out of the water. Because if you don't, the single cell algae is just going to multiply and go crazy. They don't even need that much sun to multiply. So you can have shade, but if you don't have aquatic plants, you're still going to have problems with the single cell algae as well as the string algae. So I have some aquatic plants in here that I'll show you. One of the ones that I like to use are these water hyacinth. And you can see the roots of this plant right now is covered in algae, but they get much bigger than this, obviously, and this one's pretty much dead. I knew these water hyacinths that I threw in here would die because they don't do well with the freezing nights, but I had to put something in here to pull nutrients out, and it wasn't a big deal that the 5 that I threw in here, it's not a big deal if they died, because I have more inside that I'm keeping warm that will come back out when things are done freezing. But yeah, water hyacinth works really well. I recommend that if you don't have a local place where you can buy water hyacinth, that you order it online. I had to order mine off of eBay this year. A couple years back, my local fish store had some, but they only did it for that 1 year. They didn't do it last year. So I had major algae problems last year because I didn't have any aquatic plants. It didn't matter if I tried to shade the pond. Obviously, if I would have had a better shade structure, if my shade structure was finished, it probably would have done better. But yeah, you need three things in order to keep your pond clear of algae. You need a good biological filter, and you need aquatic plants, and you need shade. If you're missing one of those things, you are probably going to end up needing to clean out your filter if you don't have shade or you don't have aquatic plants. You may end up needing to clean it out. And I've had to do that a couple times last year because I didn't bother ordering the water hyacinth online when my local store didn't have it. So I didn't have aquatic plants last year, and the water just got it was like pea soup. It got thick as muck. And when your filter gets that clogged with algae, it is not going to perform. There are some fish-safe, like, I don't know if they're chemicals or what they are, but fish-safe solutions that you can get from, like, the Home Depot or Lowe's, which will help. One of the solutions helps your filter function better because it will kind of coagulate or bring the algae together in clumps so that it can be caught by your filter. And there's another solution which will help to actually kill the algae in the water. And these things are, like I said, fish safe that you can get. I don't like to dump solutions in here if I don't have to. So, if you have to end up cleaning your filter out, which is not really a good thing because you'll end up killing bacteria, and then you've got to seed your filter again by putting more bacteria in it, especially if the only water you have to clean it out with is chlorinated water. You're going to end up killing a lot of bacteria. But essentially what I have done when I had to clean the filter out is all of my filters I had, before I removed it, I had a little spout at the bottom where I could open the valve and drain it, and at the same time spray some water on the top and sort of backwash algae out. Now that won't be nearly enough. Once you backwash it out, then the filter media inside will just be packed full of algae if you didn't have one of those things that you need to keep the algae from really multiplying. Your filter media could just be packed with algae, and the only way to clean that out is pull it out, hose it off, and put it back in. Not the recommended way to go, but I've had to do it at times when the filter just got really clogged with algae. Same with the rectangular filter last year when I didn't have aquatic plants. If that string algae and everything just goes crazy in there, it'll clog your filter and render it pretty much useless. So make sure that you somehow get aquatic plants. Another thing last year is I really couldn't do aquatic plants because I was still building this pond. I did all the brickwork that you see on this last year, and I probably should have waited before I put fish in it. I probably should have waited till the pond was finished, but I just couldn't wait. It's been a lot of fun. I had to be careful, obviously, that I didn't drop anything in the water that would kill the fish or anything. So I had to be a little extra careful, but everything went well. And hey, why don't I just bring you guys in and show you how it's doing? The water's pretty clear right now, and I think it's just going to get clearer when when the weather warms up and I'm able to put some aquatic plants in here. But here it is. You can see it's doing quite well. There's the tree I was telling you about. It's kind of a late bloomer, so no leaves on it yet. Like I said, we're still getting real freezing nights here. Anyways, I hope that video was helpful to you guys. Please, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask, and share the video with your friends and subscribe.